So, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us. I'm Michelle Frost, the Lab Manager for the Eagle Lab Farm in Lincoln. We hope you've been enjoying our series of the AgriFood funding landscape a recipe for success. So, following on from our previous sessions, we're now looking at the valuable business support from Innovate UK EDGE. So, this session is aptly named #AgriFunding Bid Success. In these three short on-demand sessions, we're joined by Chris Ellis, who's a Senior Innovation and Growth Specialist and Scale-Up Director. Here, he will tell us about the support available when applying for grant funding and what to expect throughout the process, including what success looks like, knocking down the hurdles, post-application business support tools, reaching the finishing line and validating the results. As with all of our events, I need to give you a mandatory disclaimer. So we've asked Chris from Innovate UK EDGE to join us today to provide his professional views on what support Innovate UK EDGE can give to evolving businesses. The topics discussed are an overview of options for you to think about to help with your independent research and business decisions, so are not intended as recommendation or advice. Remember as well that your business has its own individual circumstances. The statements and views expressed may not be applicable or suitable for your business. So without further ado, welcome Chris, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk to us firstly about what success looks like.
Thank you, Michelle, and thank you for inviting me to talk to you and the agri-tech community about Innovate UK funding. What I would say is, in terms of success, first of all, if there's anybody watching this who has secured Innovate UK grant funding, well done. It's a competitive process and there are no guarantees that you will get the money that you're applying for. So just securing the money, even though a tranche of it will be match funded and you may have to put some in the pot, the fact that you've got the money is good work, so well done. But if we go a few steps back, you will have started your journey by finding an appropriate funding call for you to apply for. And the Innovate UK website and all the links to it, all the relevant websites will be shared with you as part of this recording. Every funding call has very good explanatory information specific to that funding call. And you do have to take the time to read the scope of the call, the eligibility, what's involved from you if you're successful in getting the money, and there is, a lot of information online for you to figure out: are we right to go looking for this money? Can we meet the match funding element of this? Sometimes it's 70-30. So if you're going for 100 grand, you're going to have to find 30 grand, and you need to have that money and prove you've got that money. Is your technology a fit for what the call is looking for? Are your solutions a fit for what the challenge is identifying? Some of these are thematic calls specific to sectors like agri-tech. Some of them are general, to do with smart awards, smart funding, where if there's innovation in play, you're as eligible to go for that funding as anybody else in any other sector. So there is a deep well of information online through Innovate UK, and Innovate UK EDGE is the advisory part of the equation. Innovate UK is known for its funding, absolutely hands down the biggest single backer of early stage R&D in this country. If you're an early stage businesses way before revenue, inventing things, developing things, it is difficult to get private money, to get funding. You will be using your own cash to start with, for sure. So Innovate UK is a shining light and a welcome source of funding for many entrepreneurs. So you start the process of applying for the grant. You do have to follow meticulously the scope of the call and answer the questions as they are asked you, and answer them in a fairly prescribed way. Often there might be 8 or 9 questions that are marked where your answer is only probably 400 words per section. So you have to read the guidance notes, make sure that your answers are a good fit for the questions that are being asked, and you almost land the blows that you need to land to be ticking off, so that the assessors who read these funding bid applications can make sense of what you're asking for, and you can see that you are a clear fit. And there is, a bit of an art to it, and assessors all across the UK are busy people. They are reading a lot of bid applications. They have scoring matrix, they have judgment guides, and it's your job to meet their requirements through following the guides and completing your application in a professional way, with clarity, with the right appendices, and you give them an easy job of marking you as high as you possibly can. So you get into the top percentiles, and you are worthy of having this public money and getting your grant. And I can tell you that the awarding of grants is done on a balanced portfolio basis. So they may have several technologies, businesses offering the same product and service in a kind of quite a like for like scenario. When that happens, it's the very highest scoring bid submissions that win out. So sometimes people get very annoyed that they've scored high 80s and still not got the money, and that's where that balanced portfolio scenario comes in, and they've chosen one particular company to give the money to. So it is competitive. There is a process. And follow the rules, follow the guidance, and make the submission. And if you've got the money, that's fantastic. So what Innovate UK are then looking for is proof that you can execute against the project plans that you've submitted. And obviously they are looking for proof that you have the match funding element of this. In the scenario that I gave you, if it's 100 grand and it's a 70-30 match fund, where is the 30 grand? If that is coming from, let's say, an early stage angel investor, a letter of intent from that angel investor is the kind of proof that they're looking for, because that angel may have not given you the money because he or she is saying, if you get Innovate UK funding, I will chip in as well. So there's a kind of sequencing thing going on. But you've got to prove that you've got the match funding element. You will need to have provided detailed spend forecasts because you will be assigned a monitoring officer who will be shadowing your process, your program, your innovation journey, and you'll be meeting quarterly with that person. They'll be checking how you're getting on, because there are drawdowns of funding. Some funds, money is released in quite big chunks up front, but it's normal to have quarterly drawdowns, and your process and your progress is checked by your monitoring officer. And again, these people come from all across the UK, very experienced, skilled experts, probably in their subject matter. So expect to have somebody who's got a lot of understanding in agri-tech, go-to-market strategies, and competitive landscapes. They'll be assigned, they'll be on a journey with you, they will help you execute, and they will help you make sure that you draw down the money. They will also be, helping you get to the end and achieving what you said you were going to achieve, because, not completing on a project can end up in you paying back grants because you failed to either commercialize or get to a particular stage gate process that you said you would get to. That has implications and ramifications for the money, where it's sitting in balance sheets, how it's accounted for, and it's a scenario that you don't really want to entertain. So you want to get on the right foot, get going in the right way, have a good relationship with your monitoring officer, hit the deadlines, hit the stage gate payments, and enjoy, having a project, funded, because probably you couldn't do what you're trying to do without this public money. So it's a great thing to get. It's competitive, sometimes not easy. Bit of wordsmithing and good, awareness of what makes for a good bid submission, but lots of information out there to help you on the Innovate UK website. And importantly, people like me are all across the UK. I happen to work out of the St John's Innovation Centre in Cambridge, and I work for Innovate UK EDGE, but there are lots of us across the UK. So the National Contact Centre will help find you somebody like me to even start helping you looking at your bid submission in the first place. We're not bid writers, so we can't do the writing, but we can certainly be a critical friend. We've seen a lot of bid submissions, and we do have a feel for what good looks like. So we can certainly add some value to it. So find the right funding call, find the right Innovate UK EDGE advisor to help you. and give it your best shot and make sure you've got the match funding that's needed if you are successful in the bid. I think that's the kind of 360 on trying to get the money, getting the money, and what to expect when you've got the money. Hope that's useful, Michelle.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks so much for your time and your insights. And thank you everyone for listening and joining the event today. Now, I'm sure you'll have been busy scribbling down notes and are now deep in thought as to how you can put this into practice. So you may be interested to learn in all of our events we run are available to watch back at your leisure on our YouTube channel. So next up in our on-demand sessions, we'll be diving deeper into knocking down hurdles, post-application business support tools. The most important thing we do is listen to our audiences. As such, we'd really value taking a couple of minutes to think about what you've enjoyed and also what you'd like to see more of. From this, we can ensure we can continue to deliver the events and topics that are relevant and key to driving your business forward. So please do contact us at agritech@barclays.com. We're here to listen. Thank you so much for your time today, and thank you, Chris.